What's up, Sandlot? Man, you know how it is. You hear it? Can you hear it? Flip around, let you see it. Oh, look at those steaks. Look at those steaks. Some of y'all may have seen my post. Richie is dead. Long live Robert. Richie's a nickname I got at work that just bugged me. But it got so commonplace that even the customers started calling me that. Well, today was my last day at that job, so Richie is dead, and we're going to have a wake for him for them steaks. But there's been a few people asking about how to shoot an Icarus. So I figured while I was cooking some steaks, I might go over a few things. Let's see if I can get y'all set up right here. Well, that's all kind of cattywampus. All right, there we go. Check the steaks real quick. So, shooting an Icarus, 45 degree canted forks. It's everybody asks about the reference point. Everybody asks about how do you go about sighting for different distances and stuff like that. The Icarus, if you'll look at the way it fits in my hand, is almost like shooting frameless. So it's more of a point and shoot, like frameless is. There's a couple of different ways. I mean, obviously you could hold it upright. It didn't really design it for upright, but you can hold it gangster or 45. I tend to hold it a little somewhere in between it, just because that's how the Ariadne version of the Icarus. We'll talk about that later on in the notes. But that's the way it sits. It sits more of a slide off gangster. But as far as shooting, I've got some chalk down there. Y'all may not see it, but I'm just kind of shooting and stuff. It's literally just point and shoot. It becomes intuitive. Your body has a very natural intuition about distance and relationship between yourself and that distance, and when you're shooting you actually get more that muscle memory comes in. But when we aim, we counter oppose or we go against that intuition. Flip them steaks real quick. But when we aim, we go against that intuition. One more second. So, the way I designed the Icarus was just like a standard natty. Now, when I first got into slingshots, like a lot of us, we started looking at the YouTube videos and stuff like that, and Nathan Masters from Simple Shot had one of how to make a slingshot out of a tree branch. And one of the things he mentioned, and granted, like I said, I was new, so I didn't know the difference between a flat fork and a canted fork, or this or that or whatever. But one of the things he said was when you're cutting a natural fork, to cut it at an angle. Nathan actually ended up with the Icarus system that allowed you to put it at that canted angle because it's a more natural way to shoot. And it really is, guys. It's instinctive. It's not something you think about. If you're thinking, you're stinking. It's just really, you come up and stare at your target, stare daggers at your target, and it's just like you're going, ooh, there it is, and pointing right at that target, except you're doing it like this. It's kind of a lesson in instinctive shooting and a lesson in how to shoot the Icarus, which is a very instinctive shooter. Get my board just a little bit low, but it really is. There's nothing to it. It's just, and I do that 3 or 4 times, and my body will auto-correct itself. I was a little too high that time, but it's just a matter of getting out, and like with any frame, it's just a matter of getting out and playing with it and seeing which way works for you and seeing how well it works for you. And I'm not expecting everybody to like it or love it, or I'm expecting quite a few people to absolutely hate it, because we've gotten so used to the flat tip aim and everything like that. I like the instinctive shooters, and even with my flat tips, I shoot instinctively. It's just, now I do use a reference point on that flat tip. That's why 95 millimeters has become my preferred width. But if you're hunting, or if you've got a moving target of any kind, it's really hard to adjust quickly with that frame in your way, because where I do it anyway on a flat tip, but my tip is almost covering up the target depending on the size of it. And if you shoot moving targets of any kind, they ain't gonna stay there long, so you've got to kind of go